Fearless.
Chase.
Bold.
Following.
Courageous.
Search. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Marshall.
And this is
Undaunted
Pursuit.
my ice pack on my back.
Oh, that's still giving you fits, huh?
Oh, it's gonna keep giving me fits, I guess, until I go see that surgeon and see what he decides we're gonna do about this mess.
Oh boy. Well, hey everybody, welcome back to Undaunted Pursuit Podcast. Glad to have you all here.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Heck yeah. No, I was sorry I'm running a little late. So I came home for lunch today.
Yeah.
And the kids had Hunter got shot in the eye with a Nerf gun, so we had to take away all the because the whole main thing about it was they weren't listening and doing what they were told. So of course, result was all guns get taken away: pellet guns, Nerf guns, airsoft guns. We got guns all over the place. So anyway, all their guns got taken away for a couple weeks, and they still had this live trap set out for. They've been catching squirrels in the backyard, killing them and putting them in the freezer, and we're gonna cook them up, make a squirrel stew eventually. But so anyway, they still had this squirrel trap set up, and we get home from work, and the boys were like, was it okay? We caught a squirrel. And was it okay to use bow and arrow? I was like, well, heck yeah, dude. They're like, they ended up killing, long story short, they ended up killing this squirrel with like a target practice arrow with a kid's bow. I was like, you know what? Awesome. I'm actually proud of you guys for thinking outside the box and nonetheless, they hit it in the head, inside the cage. So, I mean, I couldn't be much more prouder.
Impressive. It's good stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, I had to show them because they skinned it, and I'm constantly showing them what to do and everything. But they had a problem with the male parts on this one, so I had to show them how to clean a male squirrel because it's the first one that they've come across. Yeah.
That's funny. That's too funny. Hang on just a minute. Hang on. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. I sitting in this recliner that I'm sitting in because of my lovely back. I had to ask my wife to get me a pillow to set the computer on the laptop because it makes it a little bit higher and just makes it more comfortable.
Looked like she was taking good care of you. You should have just kept it unmuted and what?
Oh, I was just she tried to put it behind my head and I had to put it under my computer. But anyway.
Oh, nice. Well, you shouldn't have muted it. She should have been on the podcast.
Next time, I'll keep it muted.
Yeah. Hey. Oh, okay. So was getting onto this a little easier today?
It was. I don't know how soon you sent the request, but it seems like it came pretty quick. So,
literally, I sent it about a minute before you got on. I had just gotten done closing out of the email and gotten back to my screen here when you were coming on. So, well, thanks to Jarrett Williams and the Pursuit of Manliness, he podcast, he showed me, he kind of suggested us do that because he wasn't seeing the link either. And he's probably just a bit smarter than I am at this whole technology stuff. So anyway, I did that for him and it worked out flawlessly. So I was like, well, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it on our next one and see if you can get it. And because I figured out how to copy the link and send it in a different email and everything like that. It's so much quicker. So I'm glad it
Awesome.
worked.
Yeah. Good deal. Glad he was able to help us out on that one.
Heck yeah. Oh, so we were talking about killing squirrels. I don't guess I told you the full story. So, God blessed us this past weekend with a cow, and last podcast I kind of went a little into it, which you weren't present for, so you don't know. But
Was
I did
not.
kind of mention it on the last podcast. But I left some things out purposely because I wanted to talk. I wanted me and you to talk about it for a little bit more in detail. So anyway, I go to shoot this cow, and because of course it was just a really good deal, and she was lame. She wasn't going to make it. She would make it to market, but to the sale barn, but she wouldn't survive the truck ride. So anyway, this farmer comes up. He says, "I got a cola cow. You want it?" He's like, "Heck yeah, I do want it." He's like, "You have to do everything, start to finish." I was like, "Okay, no problem. I can do that. I can handle that." So we go out there, and I'm about 100 feet away from this cow, and she's got her butt towards me, and she. I'm trying to figure out how am I going to get her to turn around, which ended up being no problem, because as soon as she turned around, she started running at me, and then she put her head down like she was gonna uh, headbutt me, and I'm backpedaling now with my gun. I didn't have enough time because I was just walking out there with my gun on my shoulder, and I didn't have enough time to click the safety off. So I have this gun against her head, trying to push her head down and away from me as I'm backpedaling. I'm like, get back. And she's staying on me. So I turn around and I start running away from her uh, for the time being. And then she kind of breaks off of me and then kind of goes behind this barn. Well, I had to kind of maneuver around, and I finally sealed the deal as soon as I got repositioned. But I still had to I was trying to get as close as possible for a humane kill and all that. But so anyway, ended up having to take as far of a shot as I want. As it really wasn't that far. I mean, I had a scope on the rifle, so um, everything happened very good. But that was my first time. So now I'm, I guess, a seasoned pro at it now. Now I've done one. I could stand to take another one. We got she was skinny. She was an old cow. So we got probably about 250 pounds off of her. It was amazing. Split that
Wow.
with some friends of ours. They got blessed by it. We got blessed by it. And the meat, we processed the whole cow in 2 days, and we've eaten it every night since we got it, at least some portion of
Wow.
it. And it's just stinking delicious. It
Really?
took us, because we took the time to actually just trim it. I went and got some fat from the store, and I got about 40 pounds of fat from the store. So I ended up mixed that in. I had some fat already in the freezer, and it worked out. But
That's
it
awesome.
is just delicious. As old as If you take the time to actually trim your meat the right way, like
Hmm.
you're actually cleaning like a deer or an elk or something, and you take that time to trim off that fat, that's what you ever had, like a gamey beef.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of beef you're buying.
I mean, well, I've had gamey pork chops when I was a kid. It seems like all the time we had pork chops growing up, they were
Mm-hmm.
nasty. Gamey, they tasted horrible, but they were always the cheap, thin ones. And that's maybe it was just, they were cheap, so
Yeah.
they were probably not cut well or whatever. But yeah.
Well, there's some different types of fat. There's like a good fat on them, and then there's like this nasty like yellow fat, and then that um, snot skin is what we call it. If you don't trim as much of that junk off, that like nasty yellow fat and that snot skin, it makes the meat taste really bad. We do the best we can to do it, um, to trim all that off, but uh, which I think we did, and it helps that we had some. I couldn't have done it by myself. There's no way.
Yeah.
I've never had to clean an animal that big before.
That's a big animal. It's a very large animal to have to clean up.
Yeah. And because there comes a point in a cow's life when they get so old that, she was like 1,000 pounds, or roughly about a
Yeah.
thousand pounds, but she was 7 years old. So there comes a point where the bones start kind of outgrowing what the meat. So she
Mm,
may be 1,000 pounds, but most of it is bone weight.
right. Yeah. That's what I say about myself.
But them
You know,
legs, oh my
as I
gosh.
get it as I get older, and I get heavier, I just say it's that daggone bone weight. It
Yeah,
ain't fat.
that's right. It gives a whole new meaning to big boned.
I tell you what, it's bone weight.
Yeah, it's
Well,
bone.
I'm glad you guys got that cow cut up and cleaned up and froze up and served up. That's good stuff.
The heck yeah.
Ain't nothing like your own
Oh,
fresh
speaking of which,
meat.
that should be the title of this episode. That's right. That should be the title of this episode. It's not fat, it's bone weight.
There we go. I like it. It's not fat, it's bone weight. Moo. Yep.
But all right,
Man.
well, shoot. You've been pretty busy at work. I know we're kind
Oh
of doing
yeah.
this a little late in the day because you wanted as much time at work as you could.
Yes, I am busy at work. I've been busy since probably the end of last year and before all the holidays and stuff. And so I'm just playing catch up, and I'm just trying to get at least one job designed a day. Trying to, and I'm a little slow when it
Nice.
comes to designing these jobs. Some people are faster than I am, but I'm kind of slow. But so yeah, I've been busy with that, and but just trying to catch up. Yeah, boy, I tell you what, I'm so
Cool.
full. I've had so much junk food this past few days. Oh my goodness, this lady I work with, she's been
Well, you've been
bringing.
batching it, haven't you?
Well, I was batching it up, being a bachelor for a couple weeks. My wife was out of town, house and pet sitting for her parents in East Texas, and so I mean, I was eating good, you know. I mean, my wife, you know, did all the shopping and grocery shopping for me, and uh, get all the food for the meals and stuff. But they were simple meals, you know, like
Nice.
spaghetti and stuff like that. She made meatloaf tonight, which was really good. Um, but yeah, I just been eating a
Hmm.
bunch of. We had brownies up at the office, been eating that, and I come home and have
Ooh.
meatloaf and a big meal and cookies. I'm just like, "Ooh." And plus I don't work out like I used to, so I'm still eating the same as I did when I was working out. So that ain't helping me. So I gotta change
Oh,
my
I
ways.
gotta tell you. I gotta tell you the why does you well here I'm gonna start with this. Um, why do we always get back to food on this podcast, don't we? Well, we just love to eat.
Man, you know it's true. We eat. We do. We love talking about food. It is almost. I think almost every episode. Well, probably not every episode, but several episodes. We talk a lot about food. I don't know. Maybe we should recall it or rename it like the Undaunted Food Pursuit or something.
Yeah, right. Hey,
Uh,
actually, that's not a bad idea. That gives me
it's
another idea.
another,
Like I need any
another
more side
podcast.
projects. That
Y'all
gives
be
me
looking
another.
out for the
Yeah,
Undaunted
I'm
Food
now. You got
Pursuit
my wheels
podcast.
turning. Hmm. Yeah.
Uh,
Well. Oh, So okay. Dang. I got enough I want to cover here. I'll give you a little teaser. I finished the script for the film series that I'm wanting to do, a little video series that I'm
Ah,
I'm working on right now, and the
good deal.
script is finished. And so I'm talking it over with the videographer and everything like that. So there you go, guys. Coming soon. Uh, there's some video stuff. Kind of, pretty much. It's under the un. Yeah, I know, right? Unrelated, kind of unrelated. It's under the Undaunted Pursuit Productions umbrella, but it's unrelated to this podcast. Is totally separate from what we're getting ready to dive into. But either way, little teaser for you guys. So stay tuned because it'll get announced on here.
Oh
It's
yeah,
nothing bad, but
that's fantastic.
now, thanks to Marshall, thanks to you, Marshall, that now you got my wheels turning about something along the food line. So we like talking about food. I
We
like
do,
eating
and
food.
it'd be so easy to talk about food and have a podcast about food. I don't know. Okay, yeah. So, but before we go on, those of you who are listening, if you want to see Aaron and I do a podcast about food, hit us up. Let us
Yeah,
know. We we might do that. That'd be fun. I don't know. We'll see.
yeah, we could get in. Yeah, food, drink. We'll split off from here. If you don't want to listen to us and yammering on and doing all this, we'll start a completely different podcast on just dedicated to food. I don't know. We'll see. I can think of a few things,
Oh yeah, most definitely.
and then eat right there. Say, hey, what kind of food did you bring today, Marshall?
Oh, Aaron, my food was great. Let me tell you about the food I had today. But before I get into my food, what did you get?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that works out. It's interesting.
We'll see.
No.
Hmm.
Anyway, you said something about. Oh shoot! Hold on a second. No way, Jose. Get. Uh-oh. Oh man, I hope I didn't break that. All right. Hold on a second. I need my phone. There was. I hope I killed it. Oh no, I didn't. Okay, hold on. Oh shoot! I don't want to. Hold on, I gotta push this microphone up.
And now, a thought from our sponsor,
Okay.
Killing Creepy Crawlies. If you have trouble with creepy crawlies, then you need to call the Creepy Crawly Contracting Killers.
Well, how'd you
And we're
guess?
back. Well, you said you had to kill it, and I don't think there's anything that big in your house that you got to kill, so I assumed it was a bug of some sorts. Probably a spider.
It was a spider. Yeah, he's crawling up here.
You know what? This is what I'm going to get you, Aaron. I'm going to get you, if you don't already have it, I'm going to get you one of those salt guns since you're an avid hunter. Because not
Oh
only
man, I would
should you be
love one
allowed
of
to hunt,
those.
not only should you be allowed to hunt in the woods, but you should be allowed to hunt in your own house. So you need one of those salt guns.
I do need one of those salt guns. We've been wanting one for a long time, and I used one in the backcountry when I went to the I went into a backcountry camp, and we were just laying in the wall tents, and of course, back there's just so many bugs everywhere, and we're just laying
Yeah.
there uh, in the cots firing at bugs, pow 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 pow, with this salt gun, and wondering why our eyes hurt. Why do my eyes burn? It's like, oh, we're shooting salt in the air.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
You got
love
to
them
wear some eye
things.
protection.
They work.
Hmm. They do. I bet. I've seen people use them, but
Yeah.
I've never used one, but I'd like to have them for myself.
Oh, they're great. They're expensive though.
Are they?
For what they are.
Yeah. Hmm.
They're like $50.
Oh wow. Look on
Yeah.
Amazon.
Yeah, right. So anyway, no, man, I have been so dang sore. I got this wild hair to start working out at home, just like body weight exercise, whatever,
Yeah.
and because I walked past a window one day and I was like, oh man, you look disgusting. And so I was like, all right, I got to start working out. So anyway, that's what I started doing. And
Nice.
yeah, so I downloaded this thing. What is it called? Let me look this up here. Oh, it just says home workout. That's all it says. It's an app for your phone, whatever. Anyway, it's actually been really good. We're talking like 15 minutes in the morning when I wake up. I'll start a pot of coffee. I'll do my workout in the morning, just push ups and incline, decline push ups and jumping jacks and whatever. They've got different workouts for different body groups. I chose the full body workout one, and shoot, it's not that bad, but you wouldn't think that I would be as sore as I am, but holy
Oh yeah.
smokes, I'm dying here. I can't. Maybe it's just because I'm getting
Chest
older or something, but golly,
chest sore, back sore.
everything.
What?
You
I
know
tell
what
you,
I've?
once I get my back fixed up, I'm gonna be back in the gym. Like I said, I gotta lose. I want to lose about 20 pounds. 20 to 25 pounds is my goal, and just get back in shape. Cardio, just shed a
Yeah,
few pounds. my face is getting chubby. I gotta do a little something here. It's getting on my nerves.
Well, and I've been wanting to get into the gym for a long time now, for a couple years, but I just can't.
Hmm.
One, it's expensive. Two, we got 5 kids, whatever, and I can't. Well, I'm busy doing other stuff, so it's like the best I can do right now, body weight stuff at the house,
Yeah.
and I don't really know um, if I'm looking to lose a bunch of weight as much as I'm wanting to just kind of bulk up a little bit and gain some strength and energy back. That's all I'm really concerned about.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with working out at the house. I mean, there's plenty of things you can do at home, like you said, just body weight stuff. That stuff works fantastic, and you can make your own stuff. I mean, heck, go buy one of those sticks for like you can probably get them at Home Depot or Lowe's for like a rake or something if you had to replace the handle for a rake. And then just take a couple milk jugs
Mm-hmm.
and fill them suckers full of water and tape the lids on and just use that, and do squats and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's plenty of things
Do
you can do.
squats.
Yeah. Gotta get creative.
Yeah, no, I'm okay doing these body weight. I'm hurting plenty right now. I'm sure as it is. So what we used to do when I was in the fire department was we'd get a deck of cards, and you would come up with different workouts for the different suits, and then as you drew the cards, the you would say like push-ups for diamonds, and then you flip a diamond, a 6 of diamonds, then you got to do 6 push-ups. Well, then you in say sit-ups for spades, you flip a 4 of spades, you have to do 4 sit-ups. It's a
That's
good
pretty cool.
workout. It
Yeah.
really works you. Yeah.
Mixes it up.
That's all stuff they can do at home. People can do at home. It's
Oh yeah.
But this is working okay for me. I'm just
That's
dying.
good. I understand
You know what
that.
the
I
problem is?
understand that.
Mostly, I was trying to work out this morning, and I had push-ups on my workout this morning. Several of them, like almost the whole thing was nothing but different kinds of push-ups. And the only reason it was so hard is because my abs hurt so bad. I can't hardly move because my abs are just getting swole.
Watch out, y'all. Aaron's getting jacked, and before you know it, we're gonna have a podcast all about working out. So just be on the
That's
lookout.
right. Oh shoot. All right, I guess we better get into this Luke chapter 5, huh?
I suppose we better just touch on that topic just a hair.
Right.
Oh,
So,
Luke chapter 5.
Luke chapter 5. Yeah. Jesus is we're going to get into the first disciples here is what mine is titled.
At the
And
beginning of mine, it says Jesus provides miraculous catch of fish.
oh, yes he does. Well, you know what I was thought, okay, so here's the story. I kind of want to get away from like reading it verbatim, but um and plus I've read through this several times before, just kind of preparing. But Jesus is he's going down to the Sea of Galilee, and there's all kinds of people that are crowding around him that are, of course, Jesus has quite the following, and that people are wanting to hear him preach. And so, what I thought was funny was that not funny, but the Sea of Galilee has like 3 different names. Did you notice that, Marshall?
I didn't, but now that you say it, I'm looking at it and I can see one right off the bat. I didn't realize it was the same name or it was the same sea it was talking about.
Yeah, so it's the Lake of however you say that, Gennesaret, Gennesaret, however you say that. It's another name for the Sea of Galilee, and it's also sometimes called the Sea of Tiberias.
I didn't know that. Learn something new every day. Every
Yeah,
day.
right. So here Jesus is coming down to with these bunch of people following him, and he's going to he sees these 2 boats sitting on the shoreline, and
Yeah.
the fishermen are out of them, and they must have been like off to the side, I suppose, washing
Hmm.
their nets. They'd been out fishing, it, of course, and So he sees these two boats. Well, he gets into one of these boats, and which happens to be Simon's, Simon Peter. Simon becomes Peter,
Hmm.
um,
Oh yeah.
and he asks him. Jesus asks him, "Hey Simon, put this boat out into a little ways from the shore. I guess
Hmm.
um, maybe that way. Who knows? Maybe he was trying to get. Maybe he didn't want all those people crowding around him at that time, or I don't know. Maybe the boat amplified his voice a bit. He could either way. They put out a little bit from the shore, so that Jesus could teach to all these people that are now probably sitting on the shoreline, right?
Hmm.
And so he had, it doesn't say how long he actually preached for, and it, just think about it, Marshall, how Simon must have felt Jesus coming up wanting to, did Simon know about Jesus at this point in time? I know he's obviously probably heard of Jesus, hasn't he?
Right. I would think so.
And so he obviously has, because as we progress through this chapter, we're going to see the way Simon interacts with Jesus. He obviously knows who Jesus is.
Oh yeah. Most definitely.
So anyway, Jesus finishes speaking, and he's done teaching, and he says to Simon Peter, "Hey, let's move this boat out a little deeper." Who knows? I wonder really how deep they were.
Yeah, I don't know. But I wonder because you said a minute ago how Jesus had told him to move the boats out a little deeper, like from the get go.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that
Yeah.
was for the crowds. Maybe he was just kind of preparing for what he was about to do for them when it came to casting out these nets into deeper water. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he was just kind of,
Well,
kind
possibly.
of have a speaker will kind of, preface, their speech and kind of build it up a little bit. Maybe that's what he was doing. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, and you can also speculate that even the fish wanted to come hear Jesus teach. It's not out of the realm of possibility that
It's not.
uh, you know why wouldn't his creation just kind of gravitate to him? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All he's got to do
Hmm.
is think about it. So
Yeah.
if he already knows what he wants to do when he gets into that boat, or heck, he already knew what he was wanting to do when he was when he was going to the Sea of Galilee.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So if he's already thinking of it, here's a possibility that the fish just even already knew, and they
Hmm.
gathered around the boat as Jesus was standing in the boat in the water. I don't know. That's a theory,
Yeah.
guys. I don't really. That's just we're just talking here. That's not. I don't have anything to back that up at all.
No, not at all.
But anyway, so you know, Jesus tells him to do this. Let's get out in deeper water. Put your nets over the side of the boat, and or prepare your nets for a catch of fish, and put them out. And Simon pipes up, and he's like, "But here I didn't want to read this verbatim, but he does say I do want to read this part coming up in verse 5. He says, "Master, we worked hard all night." So he he calls Jesus Master.
Hmm. No,
Master, we
he
have
knows who
toiled.
he
We
is.
have yeah. Well, and mine says, um, we worked hard all night to the point of exhaustion and caught nothing in our nets. But here it is. He's going to show this is an act. This is an act of faith. And so I looked it up. This when he refers to Jesus as Master. Um, Forgive me for screwing up this word that I'm about to say, but the Greek word that Luke used in this chapter, master, episada, is only unique to this gospel. It has ideas, and it says in this that I looked up here, it's unique to Luke's gospel. The word has the ideas commander, leader, or perhaps even boss. With this title, Peter showed he was willing to take orders from Jesus. So just by calling him master like that,
Right.
um, you know, he's and I think it's he's going to show tremendous faith. He's exhausted. He could have used any excuse. These guys have been out all night long
Oh yeah.
fishing and catching nothing. And he could have just chalked it up, he could have said, I'm tired. I'm ready to go to bed. There's nothing left in the sea. Or, uh, what does a carpenter, because Jesus is a carpenter, what, who is Jesus, a carpenter, telling me how to fish or where to fish,
Yeah.
whatever. There's any number of
Mm-hmm.
possibilities there. But because, like you should, put your faith and trust in Jesus, Peter follows his command.
Mm-hmm.
And so, let's see here. He says, and it says, at your word, I will do as you say and lower the nets again. And what happens next? They catch a great number of fish. Their nets were they caught so many fish that their nets were breaking. Not only
Mm-hmm. And
did go ahead.
no, I was going to say, not only did the net start to break, but they ended up filling up two boats, so much so that the boats began to sink. Now, think about it. Could you imagine how frustrating that would be if your boat began to sink and all those
Yeah,
fish you caught started getting out of the boat? I mean, for all you avid fishermen out there, think about that. That'd be a little irritating. It didn't say that they actually sank, but they
right.
began to sink. So they're taking on some water.
Hmm. But here's what we can. What do you take out of that? What's the because there's so this chapter I thought is very meaty, and Jesus could have. That's the way you look at apply this to your life. How much more does Jesus bless you? He
Mm-hmm.
he could have given. They could have caught a small number of fish, but no, no, no. They caught two boatloads of fish to the point of nets breaking and boats sinking, and you know he overfilled the blessing, and that's what
Yeah.
Jesus does in our lives even today.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and just like us, okay, so we got this cow. We always need the meat. Of course, we killed a couple of deer this year, and we got a lot of mouths to feed. And what does God do? Blesses us with this cow. And what is our response to that? Thank you, Lord. Thank you for this blessing. Thank you for this meat in the freezer. This however, these guys whether they eat them or they sell them, whatever. What does Simon Peter do in this instance? Fell down at Jesus's knees and says, "Go away from me, for I'm a sinful man." Now, who are we? God doesn't have to bless us, but He chooses to bless us.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Absolutely.
all for His glory.
Yeah.
We don't deserve that. We're nothing but lowly sinners.
That's a fact. We don't deserve anything God blesses us with. Um, I can't say how many times God has blessed me in tremendous ways. I mean, in small ways. And God blesses me every day if I really want to stop and think about it and look at every little thing. But God never ceases to amaze me, and every time He does, me personally, I think, God, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve any of this. Like, who am
Mm-hmm.
I? Like, me being a sinner that I am, sinning like I do constantly, day in and day out, having to ask for your forgiveness day in and day out. Why are you blessing me? Why are you doing this for me? I don't deserve this. And that's what happens next
Mm-hmm.
with Simon. That's what Simon Peter says to Jesus next. He's like, hey, like, go away. Like, don't do this for me. I'm a sinner. This is not this is not for me. He says, go away from me, Lord. And Jesus says, don't be afraid. From now on,
Yeah.
you,
Well,
you will go on and catch men.
yeah, exactly. What is all He asks in return for that blessing is to follow me. Or, the
Hmm.
Jesus says, "Follow me." I will make you fishers of men.
Yeah.
That was all He required. And what is it? That miracle was so profound that even James and John they pulled their boats to shore and left everything
Yeah.
to become His disciples, and they went on their way. They just pulled them up on shore and was out. They were done.
And that alone takes a lot of faith. you're going off and following somebody that, I don't know how well Simon Peter knew him at this point, but I don't think he knew him real well. He knew him, he knew who he was, but I don't think he knew him on a personal level, and so to
Mm-hmm.
realize who he is and to have that kind of faith and just drop you gotta think this is Simon Peter's, this is his living. This is what he does for a living, is fish. He's a fisherman. This is how he provides for himself and maybe his family or whoever he's helping out. And he just says, "Okay, God,
Yeah.
let's do this," and he just goes for it. I mean, imagine that. And and I was thinking while we were reading this is I it was hard then to follow Jesus. I'm sure, like Simon Peter did.
Mm-hmm.
And but think about now, we don't have Jesus right in front of us. We don't have him. He's not here in flesh like he was back then. And so we're
Right.
we're following, our faith is merely by faith, not by sight, not by feeling him,
Yep.
touching him. And to me, I think that's harder than if Jesus were to walk up to me and I knew who he was and what he was about
Mm-hmm.
and said, "Follow me." I feel like that would be maybe that would be easier than how it is nowadays when, not actually physically seeing
And
the
you're
Lord.
getting right, and you're getting a little ahead of yourself on that one. Well, you're on the not you're not, but you're on the verge of getting a little ahead of yourself when we get to the Beatitudes. Blessed are those who um, believe
Yeah.
yet do not see.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
you're right, though. It's it baffles me every time every story that I read in the Bible here that these guys had Jesus in the flesh there performing miracles and showing God's love right there, and they still missed it.
Hmm.
It just
Yeah.
it's like how it's easy to look back and like how did you guys miss it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely. I don't know.
So all right, so here we are. They left everything, and it just says, "While Jesus was in one of the cities, who knows where that is?" So they go to this. They go to one of these cities, and there comes a guy with an advanced case of leprosy. Um, Now leprosy. I'm looking kind of at the subnotes here in the study Bible. It was used broadly, so leprosy could be anything, any skin disease of some sort, either psoriasis, lupus, ringworm. There is an actual like leprosy, but when it says that this guy had an advanced case of leprosy, it means that there was no sign of or no hope of improvement.
Yeah, and I don't know if anybody listening has actually um, witnessed firsthand somebody with leprosy, but I have. And when I went to India uh, on mission trips, we went to leper colonies
Hmm.
in India, where there's just because in India, people who have leprosy, they're shunned, they're kind of cast out of society. And they have like
Yeah.
leprosy camps or villages. And, and these are a lot of people who they're very, very advanced, probably like this guy was, where they have missing appendages, arms, fingers, legs, I mean, feet, toes. I mean, so much so that I saw a guy there and I'll never forget it, where he had rubber bicycle tubes from a tire wrapped around his nubs where his feet used to
Mm,
be, and he walked on that rubber, and those were essentially his shoes. And
golly.
it's it, but in a country like that where that stuff runs rampant, and it's what most would say is a third world country in parts of that country. Um, it can get really bad. I mean, you don't have the money to go to the doctor and get medication to heal it. What do you do?
Hmm.
So it's seeing that and knowing what I've seen, it can get really bad.
Yeah. Well, and I think I either maybe I didn't make any sense when I was talking about it earlier. Leprosy is an actual disease, but the point I was trying to make was the fact that they did also consider the psoriasis, the lupus, and all that, the ringworm. They considered that leprosy. I wasn't discrediting the fact that there's no such thing as leprosy. There very much is, because it's still going on today.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
um, if you had ringworm, were considered, you had leprosy. You were shunned just like the rest of them, just like the
Yeah.
actual lepers. And so anyway, you can imagine, just like you said, Marshall, these people are in uh, complete desperation. This guy is
Yeah.
coming to
Oh yeah.
Jesus completely desperate. So what does he do? He comes and falls at his feet, falls on his face, and begs him, and asks Jesus, Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean and well. So here he is coming in full faith, full desperation, and asking Jesus, if he's willing, heal me. And so this is the cool part about this story. What did you say earlier, Marshall, about these leper? It's a very contagious. It's a contagious disease, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It definitely can be.
So these these people were shunned for a reason, and what does Jesus do? Because he can, because nothing, he has the power to do so. He doesn't have to worry about getting leprosy himself. So this is the cool part about it. He reaches out and he touches him, saying, I am willing. And just at his word, be cleansed. And the guy is immediately cleansed. He's immediately better.
Mm-hmm.
He's cured.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I like I like this next part where Jesus says, don't tell anyone, but go, show yourself to the priest and offer the sacrifices that Moses commanded. For your cleansing as a
Mm-hmm.
testimony, you're cleaning as a testimony to them. And what I like after that in verse 15, it says, yet the news about him spread all the more. So, Jesus told him, don't tell anybody, go tell the priest, but don't go run off and talk at everybody. Jesus knew what
Yeah.
was going to happen. But even though
And
the
does he
guy
blame
didn't
him?
go and he just told the priest, yeah, no, you know, I mean, you know how hard that would be if I mean, every time Jesus does something for me, I run around and tell everybody, right? I'm like, hey, look at this! You're not going to believe what God did for me, because you're in awe. You're
I
like,
couldn't keep quiet.
oh, absolutely not. I can't keep quiet. I'm like, God loves me so much that He did this for me. I mean, come on. I mean, so
Mm-hmm.
for instance, I want to tell this little story, something that happened to me, and I don't mean that it kind of ties in with this, but last uh, this week, I um, I was driving to work, and let me preface this by
Mm-hmm.
saying that off and on throughout my life, I have struggled with anger and frustration. So I'm driving to work. Maybe I think it was Monday morning, and I live about 20 minutes away from home, or I'm sorry, I work 20 minutes away from my house. So I'm driving to work and I'm
Mm-hmm.
praying to God. I'm just asking God, hey, will you please give me the opportunity to work on my anger? And when that comes, show me how to do it, show me how to handle it, and just help me to become more like you and less like me. And so I'm sitting there praying this, and I get to the office, I pull into the parking lot, and I reach over to grab my lunchbox and some stuff, and I realize that I left my backpack for work with my work computer at home.
Mm-hmm.
So for about a split second, I said, "Ah, dang it, dadgummit," and then immediately I started to laugh because I thought, I said, "Okay, God," I said, "First off, thank you." Thank you for this
Mm-hmm.
opportunity that I literally just prayed for, and I okay, and we're gonna do this. And so I had to turn around and drive 20 minutes right back to where I came from, grab it, and then drive 20 minutes. So you got to think 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back, 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back. You just wasted well
Mm-hmm.
over an hour, driving back and forth. And usually that would make me so mad because I'm an on time guy and I hate being late, especially to work.
Yeah.
But I just laughed about it, and I thank the Lord for that opportunity. I mean, I just prayed for it, and throughout that day, throughout that day, things happened to me. I mean, there was something else that happened to me during work, and throughout the day, every time something happened, I thanked the Lord, and I just said, you know what? Thank you so much, and not only thanking Him, but realizing that God loved you. You love me so much. You love me so much that you're willing to help me work on myself and better me so that I can be more like you and less like me. The fact that God is willing to take the time out of his busy schedule to focus on me and my life and making me a better man. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like that guy with leprosy and every other miracle that God does here, healing people and all this stuff. It means the same thing to me. And it's the same thing to me when God helps me work through my hardships. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys and with you, Aaron, because I just thought that was it was a really cool experience for myself.
Heck yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that was really cool. When you told me about that, hold on just a second. Okay, all right, I'm back. No, so anyway, yeah, no, that was a cool story. Sorry, I had a little distraction there, but but anyway, uh, God does answer prayers. Whether it's not necessarily on our time, but you got, like you said, Marshall, you gotta laugh when he answers them immediately, because it's like, oh, thank you, Lord. And you can't help but recognize them in the moment. It's like, you know what, you're right.
Hmm.
And what did that do to you? It just completely, it uplifted you in that moment, and that's exactly what it was meant to do. And I'm rambling here, but either way.
Absolutely.
So he tells this leper to, and I'm already realizing the fact that we're not going to make it through chapter 5 tonight. But
We never do.
he tells this leper, I know, right? Yeah, it's good. It's good. That's a good thing.
Hmm.
Go see the priest. And I want to encourage everybody listening, and you too, Marshall, that go read. And it's just an interesting read. That's all. That's all it really kind of is. But go read Leviticus chapter 14 and see what this guy actually just what he had to do according to the law of Moses. Um, it's crazy. There's a lot that a leper had to do when he was cleansed. Um, it's incredibly interesting and intriguing, all the steps that they had to take. You ever read through
I have not, but I've got my note, so I'll remember to do it.
it? It's interesting to say the least. Let me see if I can't. So just a quick. They had to perform ceremonies. The gift was 2 clean birds, some cedar wood with scarlet and hyssop, which were to be brought for his cleansing. And when clean, 2 lambs, 1 ewe, 3/10 deals of flour, and 1 log of oil. But if the person was poor, and it just goes on and on. It's the amount of stuff, and then they used all of this in all of it came together to as part of the cleansing ceremony. It's wild.
That's interesting. That's crazy.
Yeah. And so, oh, and then another thing, another reason for going to see the priest, because it also helped this leper, once cleansed, to kind of get him back into society. Does
Mm.
that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, because you can imagine that this guy, being so far advanced the way he was, um, had probably been shunned from society for quite a while.
Oh yeah. I mean, when you're shunned from society for that long, it's hard to get back into the groove of things.
Yeah. And so, oh, so we're getting into it. Uh, so news about Jesus was spreading now. We'll get off the leper here. They're moving on, and large crowds kept gathering to hear Jesus and get and heal their illnesses and what have you. And we've said this before. The reason he didn't want people to tell no one is because he wasn't doing this for the to become famous or for the
Mm-hmm.
notoriety and whatever. He was doing it because these people. It was his. He was doing it for his ministry. For because these people actually needed healing. They needed to hear what he had to say. It was his ministry. It wasn't doing it just to become famous.
Well, no,
And
and he was
so,
teaching them things. I mean, if you look at this, every time Jesus heals somebody, there's a lesson in every single healing, in my opinion.
mhm. Sorry, I was reading. Say that again, Marshall.
No, I was saying that, um, like you said, he wasn't doing it for the notoriety or become famous. He was doing it, um, not because they just needed it, but there's a lesson. I think, and every time he healed somebody or did something for somebody, there was a lesson there. He was teaching people stuff. There was a
Yeah,
lot more to it. He was on a mission.
yeah, he was most definitely.
Yeah.
And so here they are. They find him. So this is. It says. Check out verse 16 real quick, Marshall, because we touched on this. I think in chapter 4. Um, Here he is
Yeah.
again, slipping away to the wilderness and in seclusion. We covered
Yep.
this on.
Yep.
That's
Last
okay.
last chapter. Hmm.
So here he is teaching now in a village. Let's see here. Oh, sitting there who had come from every village. Okay, so he's sitting here teaching, obviously in a house because as we're going to see as we progress a little further, that this paralyzed man gets lowered down through the roof. So he's obviously inside this house. But I was reading this morning.
Daddy,
Hold on.
stuck.
What?
He's stuck in his hole. And he's crying to get out.
All right, hold on. I'll be right back.
All right.
Let's see here. Let's get this back on here. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. The
Ladies and
joys of
gentlemen,
having
your host, Aaron.
an old dog.
Oh, did your dog get stuck?
Yeah, he couldn't get up, so had to go help him. And then we've been at this. I've been drinking. I drank too much sweet tea, so I had to take care of that too.
Nice.
All right, so let's get through this. We're getting a little long here.
We are.
Anyway, so yeah, he's obviously in. Jesus is obviously inside the house, and just a quick recap from our break. He's obviously in a house. These people come in and lower this paralyzed guy on a stretcher through the roof of this house. And what I was fixing to say when we had to take a break there was that I was reading this morning, and I told Ashley because we're going to see this, and I'm going to jump ahead just a little bit and cover a little bit of chapter 6 as well, just to make my point that these. Well, no, I'm not going to jump to chapter 6. Sorry, it's still. I'm going to jump a little ahead to what we're going to cover next podcast, but these Pharisees and religious leaders, or the teachers of the law, they were creepers. These dudes just walked around creeping on people all the time. It's like what
Mm-hmm.
these. So because it says here, so one day as he was teaching, there were Pharisees and teachers of the law sitting there who had come from every village, and here Jesus is trying to teach and heal inside this house, and these guys obviously had come. These Pharisees were just happened to be there, I guess. And we'll see later on when he calls Matthew to and Matthew throws this big dinner, and this is what I thought the most about them being creepers. Were here Matthew is throwing this huge dinner at his house, and these Pharisees and religious leaders are questioning these disciples. Why does your master eat with tax collectors and sinners? What are you guys doing there in the
Mm-hmm.
first place? It's Matthew's house. You know, you just creeping. So anyway, that's my point. These guys they just happened to be everywhere. They followed Jesus around. It's just I thought it was
Right.
funny as I was reading, and it'll make more sense as we get, you know, you just be thinking about that as we progress, because these guys they're everywhere, and for what
Yeah.
reason? In like places that they probably shouldn't be, have
Yeah.
no reason
Oh,
to
I'm
be.
sure. Yeah. Just go around creeping and being judgmental.
But so the reason they had to drop this guy in on a stretcher is because, of course, the crowd was just way too big. They couldn't get this guy, this
Yeah.
paralyzed guy. Obviously, the contraption he was on, the stretcher he was on, was too big to fit through the crowd. So they had to go upwards with him and then down through the roof of the house. So let's see here. So they lower him in front of Jesus, and Jesus immediately recognizing the fact that um, they had so much faith that they went through these lengths. They destroyed this roof to get them in, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously tensions are high at this moment, as far as like the owner of the house is like, oh, how am I going to do this, and whatever. But how am I going to fix my roof, and and is Jesus really going to heal me? And Jesus immediately, he says, "Man, your sins are forgiven." Well, and you can imagine at this point in time, as soon as Jesus says, "Your sins are forgiven," these Pharisees, um, they pipe up. But what? Who is he to forgive sins?
Yeah, I know, right?
And that's exactly what they isn't God the only one that can do that?
Mm-hmm.
So of course Jesus recognizes this, and he's going to address these hostile thoughts, is what it says in my Bible. And he says, why are you questioning? Why are you questioning these things in your heart? So which is easier to say, your sins are forgiven, or get up and walk?
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so let me look this up here. So let's see. All right, so when I looked that up, I had to look at it here. So so it says, this article I was reading here says, for men, both real forgiveness and the power to heal are impossible, but for God, both are easy. So the logical assumption, that if Jesus had the power to heal the man's disease, he also had the authority to forgive sins. So it also says here, Jesus was willing to put himself to the test in a way where the results would be immediate. So in a way, it was harder to heal the man than to forgive his sins, because forgiveness is invisible. No one could verify at that moment the man was
Mm-hmm.
forgiven before God. Yet it could be instantly verified whether or not the man could walk. So there you go. And Jesus was willing to put himself to the test in a way where the results would be immediate. Because I had that question when I was reading through this, which is, why did he verbalize, why did he choose to heal him in that way?
Yeah, that's interesting.
And so he goes on in verse 24, but in order that you may know that the Son of Man, and in parentheses, the Messiah, has the authority and power on earth to forgive sins. He said to the paralyzed man, I say to you, get up and pick up your stretcher, go home. you know,
Take your mat and
it's
get
a
out of
pretty
here.
stern order. Yeah, go on. Okay. Did you notice, though, that the Son of Man, he refers to him a lot of the time,
Yeah.
to himself as the Son of Man.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why that is?
I don't. I mean, I saw the fact that he is the Son of God, but who created man? But
Right. Well, the wording "Son of Man," because he uses that, because to use anything else, it's less offensive, I guess, or
hmm.
it's not as he uses it. It's a humbler form. He's still referring to himself as the Messiah, because that's what he is, but it's a humbler. He's being humble with it,
Mm-hmm.
because to use anything else, Son of God, son, the Messiah. It's you got to remember that these guys were still thinking that the Messiah is coming to conquer Rome.
Right.
And so
Right.
he refers to himself as the Son of Man because he's there to save man.
Yeah. No, it makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
If he were
So
the
it's
other way,
not
things would be a little bit different. He wouldn't be taken as serious, maybe.
right. And he'd be, even though he is the King of Kings and the Lord
Yeah.
of Lords, he's using this wordage to be a little bit more humbler, to be a little bit more approachable, and
Yeah.
so that's why he's referring to himself as the Son of Man.
Yep. I mean, think about it too. If he walked around being, "Oh, I am the Son of God," I mean, think about anybody else who's cocky, so to speak. I can see that being taken that
Yeah,
way, even back then. Like, who does he think he is calling himself the Son of God? And I'm sure that's probably how they
right,
would have responded. So, I mean, it makes sense.
exactly. And threatening. That's what it was. That was the word I was going for.
Yeah.
Is threatening. It would
Yeah,
have
I
been
could see that.
threatening to a lot more people. I mean, of course, these self-righteous hypocrites were already threatened by him, no matter what he said.
Yeah.
But
Man, self-righteous hypocrites. I feel like you just cuss somebody out.
right,
You
you
sound
do
like
get
you were mad when you said that.
right, right. You do tend to get a little um hardened to these Pharisees and these religious leaders,
Oh
the way
yeah.
they talked and treated Jesus even early on. You do get a little frustrated with them,
Yeah. I mean, how can you not?
right? Even though we do see stuff like that every day in this modern world that we live in, it's still, even reading about it back then, you just, it does aggravate you a little bit.
It
All right,
does.
so in closing, as we start to wrap this up a little bit for tonight, we'll get into um, Jesus calling out his calling out Levi, which is also Matthew, and we'll get into that next week. But this paralyzed man, he's forgiven, he's healed. He picks up his stretcher and he leaves, and he goes home, and he glorifying and praising God, and everybody is
Hmm.
astonished, and in turn everybody began glorifying God, and they were, this crowd was filled with, it says here in at the end in verse 26 here, that they were filled with reverential fear. If you were to read that straight out, it would be, they were filled with fear and kept saying, we have seen wonderful and incredible things. But it wasn't like a scared fear, it was a reverential fear.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's where I'd like to stop for tonight. I think that's a good stopping point. And we are getting a little bit long,
Sounds good to me.
so I think we covered some real good stuff in that first part of chapter 5.
Absolutely.
And so, all right, well, heck, that was pretty good.
I agree. I enjoyed it.
Mm.
I'm loving
And
it.
so, yep. And don't forget, we haven't had time to get uh, a new outro recorded. You guys are more than welcome, those of you listening, to email us at our Gmail address. But we do have a new email at mail@undauntedpursuit.com. It's real easy. You can start emailing us there if you'd like. And eventually we'll get around to shooting a new outro at some point in time. But for now, that's that. Website's still under construction, so we'll let you guys know when that goes live, and there'll be some other goodies on there. Marshall, I've added stuff. We have a store. Nobody can actually see it right now. We have a gear shop that's ready to rock and roll. We have to code it into the website. So that's coming up real soon. That's exciting.
It is. Good times coming our way.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, all right, guys. Yep. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next time on the next episode. Bye.
See y'all later.
Hey guys, and thank you for listening to Undaunted Pursuit Podcast. Give us a good rating on iTunes, good review, leave us 5 stars, and follow us on YouTube. Click that subscription bell. Keep up to date with the newest episodes.
And don't forget to follow us on other social media outlets such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And if you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to email us at undauntedpursuit@gmail.com and go to our website at undauntedpursuit.podbean.com.
And don't forget, if you like what you're hearing, go to Patreon, follow us on Patreon, subscribe to our channel there. There's a small tier for donations. Any help, any support, this podcast is made possible by you, the patron. We thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
My faith again, I'll search the oceans, I'll break the world's commotion, I'll climb the highest mountain just to know you're there. To find my faith again, I'll search the whole world, I'll give up my diamonds and pearls, I'll walk the farthest distance just to know you're there. To find my faith again. I can remember when I used to fall in your arms, when every care and burden I would bring to you. But I woke up and fell asleep again, and I lost my one and only friend, and every joy inside went going, going, gone. But to find my faith again, I'll search the oceans, I'll break the world's commotion, I'll climb the highest mountain just to know you're there. To find my faith again, I'll search the whole world, I'll give up my diamonds and pearls, I'll walk the farthest distance just to know you're there. To find my faith again, I'll walk into the ocean floor, and I'll knock it open every door. I'll search until there's joy inside my soul, 'cause I know you make me whole. So I'll find my faith again, I'm gonna find my faith again. I know, I'm gonna find my faith again. I'll search the oceans, I'm gonna break the world's commotion, I'll climb the highest mountain just to know you're there. To find my faith again, I'll search the whole world, I'll give up my diamonds and pearls, I'll walk the farthest distance just to know you're there. To find my faith again, I'll search the oceans, I'll break the world's commotion, I'll climb the highest mountain just to know you're there. To find my faith again, I'll search the whole world, I'll give up my diamonds and pearls, I'll walk the farthest distance just to know you're there. To find